Drake's new album For All the Dogs dropping this Friday, August 26th, and he just gave us the cover art for this. It's looking pretty interesting, so today we're going to take a look at the cover and the release date, so let's jump straight into this. If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 10 seconds into the future, but you can now sign up for my free newsletter with the first link in the description. It comes every Sunday and details everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, so make sure to do that. So let's start out by looking at this news of the cover art, because that is the first most important thing that we got to go over, and then afterwards we got a bunch of little hints that hint at this thing dropping this Friday. So let's take a look at the cover first though. This is what Drake posted to his Instagram today, only a couple of hours ago actually, and it's looking pretty interesting. Now, in the caption he wrote, "For All the Dogs, cover by Adonis." Now, Adonis is obviously Drake's 5-year-old son that has been playing somewhat of a role in the recent past. More pictures have been surfacing and so on, but he's 5 years old, so obviously his drawing capabilities, his drawing abilities are not that enhanced, and that we can also see in the cover art is literally this drawing of a dog with these crayons. It got these eyes, and it's just like white and has these long ears, and it says parental advisory in the bottom right corner. So this seems to actually be the cover art. I don't know how to feel about this. Obviously, it's been a discussion over the past couple of years. Drake and the cover arts, if you take a look at his past 4 cover arts, none of them have been really that great. I mean, Honestly Nevermind was awful, CLB was awful, then we had Her Loss, which was kind of weird, and now this. I don't know, man. I don't know where Drake is going with the cover arts. Maybe it's more and more so of a F y'all, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. Even though I gotta say, out of the, especially compared to CLB and Honestly Nevermind, this one looks better. I gotta say that. But let's put the cover art aside for a bit, because obviously he didn't give us a release date in that caption, in that post, but there's a bunch of stuff that's hinting at a release date this Friday. Because more than 2 weeks ago, he said at a concert during his, It's All a Blur tour that he's on right now, that you see a lot of clips of, he said that the album would be coming in 2 weeks. I think that was like 4 weeks ago. So obviously that wasn't true, but it did give us somewhat of a context to put the album in terms of release. It gave us the information that it was only weeks away and not months or even years. So ever since then, we've been looking at every little possible thing to figure out when this album could be dropping. And in particular, I wanted to go over 2 tweets from Benny X, who is a producer that's really been coming up over this past 1 or 2 years, who's, for example, most recently also co-produced Search and Rescue from April, the latest Drake solo single that we got. So he does play some role, and we've been seeing Drake with Benny X in the studio, and we know that Benny X is working on this new album For All the Dogs. But for example, on August 19th, so 3 days ago, Benny X posted on Twitter a clip from 6ix9ine where he's like celebrating, but just as a meme, and he said, "Me next Friday, when the 4 records I produced got the same synth bass." So he's hinting at him being on 4 records that are releasing next Friday. And August 19th, so 3 days ago, was Saturday, and so that would mean that next Friday would be this 26th. Now, we know he's working For All the Dogs, and the funny thing is he actually then replied to his own tweet by saying, "Just trolling, this don't mean nothing," because obviously a lot of people jumped on this quickly and were like, okay, so Drake is confirmed to be dropping. Apparently not. Maybe also, Drake called up Benny X and was like, what you talking about on Twitter? You're not supposed to reveal the release date, and that's why he kind of paddled back a little bit, but it's still dropping the 28th. But that's what we're looking at right now. So we know that it could also be unrelated from Drake. So we could have 4 records coming out that have the same synth bass that are unrelated to Drake, but that's the first hint. Also, what I found more interesting, today, only a couple of hours ago at the point of recording this, he just tweeted out, "Woof, woof, grr, woof." Obviously, dog noises. So this is For All the Dogs, which, by the way, I've seen a lot of people talk about this. The acronym for All the Dogs is Fat D. So let that sink in. Drake has another album, it's called Fat D. But let's keep going though, because we got a couple of more interesting things to cover when it comes to For All the Dogs, because we've gotten reports of Zane Lowe, who is the Apple Music Beats One guy that you see do a lot of interviews with a bunch of different hip hop artists and who's kind of in tune with what's happening right now, or at least has a personal relationship to the artist and gets played a bunch of music first. And there have been reports of Zane Lowe describing one of the features on Drake's new album For All the Dogs via Apple Music Radio. And Zane Lowe said, "Industry shaking, never done before, feature of dreams." So he's hinting at a feature on the album, so we know that there's going to be features, but we kind of knew that is going to be amazing. That is going to shake the entire industry. What's then also interesting is that this was said, and then right afterwards, apparently, he played Nikes by Frank Ocean on Apple Music Radio. And this was further kind of doubled down because Drake also posted Frank Ocean's Blonde vinyl on his Instagram story just 5 days ago. Back then, people were already making theories about Frank Ocean being on the album. And I can't imagine another artist being featured on Drake's song, on Drake's album. That would be described as shaking and industry crazy, whatever Zane Lowe said there. Obviously, we got to take this with a grain of salt, because what does Zane Lowe know about this? But apparently he's been played the album, and apparently he knows something about this that we don't. So that's just that for a fact. Another feature that we could possibly see is Travis Scott, because Drake posted a picture of Travis on his Instagram story, and he was there. I think that was Black Coffee he was with, and he said dialed in on that story. So maybe that also means that Travis is going to be featured on the album, which I could definitely see. I mean, we just got Utopia with Meltdown on there, so the two of them is not a duo that I would describe as ground shaking, industry crazy, just like Zane Lowe did. So I don't think that Travis was the one that Zane was talking about, but Travis is definitely someone that we can expect on the record. Now, just to kind of sum this up, I do see big evidence in all of this for the fact that this is dropping this Friday. Benny X tweeting this morning, woof woof, whatever. So it seems like we're in the final stages. Drake now giving us the cover art. Obviously, I don't think we're that far away from a track list, from features, whatever. As soon as that drops, I'll keep y'all updated, so make sure you stay subscribed. But until then, I want to know what y'all expect from this album, because this is obviously a Drake album that's kind of there to prove that maybe you can shake things up a little bit, but we said that about the last 3 albums. But Her Loss was pretty good. So before that, with CLB and Honestly Nevermind, I wasn't that surprised that, you know, the next one wouldn't be that good. But then Her Loss came around and it was actually pretty good. So I'm in good spirits for All the Dogs. And it seems like with the Frank Ocean feature and a Travis feature, this could definitely pick up, you know, it's not pick up Drake's career, but kind of prove to people again that he can drop a great solo project. But let me know what y'all think about this. Are y'all excited for this? Who do you think is going to be featured on the record? Is it actually Frank Ocean? That would be insane. But all your thoughts on this, and when do you think this is dropping? Post that in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.